lost like 700. Basically, I had a $200 max loss on my account. Try and get it back together, sort things out. Then lost 200, 200, 200 3 days in a row, and I was like, fuck this max loss. Took it off and then lost 700. So that was after a week off. I'm probably going to take another month off because once things start going wrong and once you start losing the idea of what to do, it is just, I found it impossible to pull things back together. This is AWX, and I'm not joking. Like, I don't think I've ever felt so close to tears. Never felt so close to crying through just something going wrong so many times. And it's just I'm in a bad slump, bad habit that I can't get out of, and you might say snap out of it, and I'll say I can't snap out of it. I'm tried everything. But the chart analysis is, it's pretty clean over the 5 years, but it's got a history of every time it runs, it fails. And what's happened is one time, every now and then, when it gets a bit more volume than usual, 2 million compared to 1.3 million, it'll run in shorts who normally are shorting the 260s, 280s, 3s to think it's going to go all the way back down to the 240s, 230s. They actually all get squeezed because there's a little bit more long momentum than they would have expected. And then that squeeze can go on, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy where people in the 3s aren't covering until the 4s, and people in the 4s aren't covering until the 5s. Shorts, I think, in this has been up too much, so they're all showing it and then having to cover when it goes higher than expected. And with it just being a 4 million floor, trading 8 million, 10 million, it'll probably trade 10, 15 million a day, just can go on and on and on. But there is a general rule that generally stocks up 3 days will come down on the 4th day. And for that reason, I was short. And my initial entry was very nice in the 680s, but I was very careful. I was pretty much out again in the 660s because I was a bit worried. Then I was back in the 650s, and I panicked a little and covered. And then this big wash down to the 550s happened, which would have been a good $300-400 profit. And so I was thinking, right, this is gonna kaput. So I'm gonna make sure I don't miss the next big wash. So I was back in short 610, 620 for the bounce, which actually ripped up. Then I was underwater, so I was just hoping this would break down, and when it ripped through, I just lost $700 on the way up. And God knows what will happen. It looks like it could run to the 8s now. But the point is, I mean, it's not the end of the world to short the top of the bounce in the 620s. But when it breaks through this kind of high, when it breaks through the opening handle, from you take the 20-cent loss and you get out. I mean, I ended up taking probably a dollar loss instead of a 20-cent loss. I should have took it maybe a $200 loss instead of a $700 loss. But it's when things, and the $200 loss really probably isn't that bad a loss, because I mean, when you kind of think it's due to come down, when you look on the 15s, I think, and the volume was a little light pre-market, but when you're looking on the 15s, you've got this kind of upward trend, but you've also had this downward trend until this candle popped. And that's when you really have to get out when the candle pops above the previous high, this 670 level. And I didn't, but I don't think it's a terrible trade because you've got the downtrend and the uptrend, but it's very, very overextended, and the volume at the open was a little bit weak. But I mean, anything can happen, and it did. So this is the recording kind of straight after the AWX trade, and so obviously it's the raw emotions being captured, but it's like I know where I'm going wrong because I'm almost switched broker to a broker that enabled me to short anything, and I'm obviously shorting these 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million floats where I used to always be never being able to get borrows of them. So I'd only be shorting like 8 million floats if there wasn't too much volume, or 10, 15 million floats, and you'd always get away with shorting those in the morning, and it wasn't often that crazy shit happened unless the volume was huge. And I mean, with this broker, I must have blew up 3 accounts. So I'm not doing it again. I'd rather trade the higher floats. And it's terrible. I mean, I feel like it's absolute complete failure. to have been in this game for 2 years now. Started 2 years ago in June. It's now July, and I mean, from running hot like 3, 4 green months in a row to just losing 3 straight months constantly, weekly, like not the same person trading. It's been absolutely horrific. And you just need a few things to be out of the line or a few things to be out of sync, and you're just fucking doomed. So, absolute disaster. Definitely won't be trading for the next week. Definitely won't be trading with this broker. Definitely not taking anyone's different advice anymore. I'm just gonna fucking go back to what I was doing and what was working, and not listen to anyone and try and just get back to where I was. And it's fucked, and I'm totally pissed off that I've just spent 2 years learning this to get nowhere. But I don't know, like I remember when Eric Russell, just random mention, Eric Russell, but he made 100 grand before he went through a bad slump. But then he went through a period where he was just like not doing well and went down to a small account and still not doing well, then just fucked off and went on holiday and then made a great comeback and then is now an excellent trader. But I didn't even make 100 grand. I made three or 4 grand. So some people, I don't know, some people have a knack for it, some people don't. And I've got it a lot faster than many people. Like I started making money a lot faster than other people. I've made back all of the money I'd lost learning a lot faster than other people. But even for me, it's just, I'm complete fail still. And there's a lot of people who got it faster than me, and they're kind of running now. So maybe I'll run one day, but not for the next few weeks. Live the dream. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to fail. Sorry for you guys and sorry for me, but it's fucking come back in a couple more weeks and try again.